Hey everybody, welcome back to Movies and TVs on the Ball. I'm Steve, and with me as always is my partner in crime,
Jay.
and today and we're on part 2 of our Sonic, the fastest one alive. If you remember my past video, I did a video on the pilot episode for the animated Sonic television show with Jaleel White. On this episode, we just finished watching the Sonic the Hedgehog movie that came out in 2020, or 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. This is part of the Sonic trilogy, if you will. The newest one just came out with Shadow the Hedgehog, voiced by Keanu Reeves in Sonic 3, which we'll get to later next month. So Jay, what was your thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog as a character growing up with him?
I guess it wasn't like mostly just playing the games. I think I had Sonic 3 on I think I had a Genesis Nomad.
You had
I had the Nomad, like the little portable.
Not the Game Gear.
No, not the Game Gear. I think it's the Genesis Nomad. I thought it was called.
Oh, really? So they have like a Genesis, kind of like it's like a kind of portable Genesis,
Yeah,
pretty much.
I thought. Well, let me. Yeah, it was like the Genesis. What about you? Where had you?
My cousin Aaron had a Sega Genesis at his house, and so I know that one. Sega Genesis at his house, and we played Sonic, and then we played. Those controllers were so big that I remember playing it for so long that my hand got carpal tunnel syndrome or something like that.
Gotcha.
What really interested me with doing this video is I I kind of knew they were doing a live action Sonic movie, and I thought, how are they going to do that? Just because, they probably couldn't have done it in the '90s. It would look too weird. And this actually, speaking of weirdness, this this film originally, when they released the first trailer for this movie, do you remember the Sonic eyes?
Yeah, I remember they got a lot of
Pushback against the eye character's design of the eyes, and I think he looks really good for what he looks like in this one. Just with the eyes, and he looks so expressive. The characters, Sonic's voiced by Ben Schwartz, and he's just done a lot of TV shows and stuff. But this was sort of the return, or Jim Carrey's kind of big kid break, or second to kid break, I think, after maybe The Grinch,
right?
Which is he plays Dr. Robotnik, who, after watching him, in the animated show, he's a lot more like, oh, that hedgehog is I'm going to destroy the world, and this one, I loved him as, I thought he was a villain, but he had this alrighty then kind of feel to him. Jay, what was your thoughts on, so the plot, and then you also have James Marsden,
Right.
not Buffy, but the Cyclops. He played Cyclops. He plays a sheriff, local sheriff who is planning to move to the San Francisco. And then you had and I loved it sort of, and you've got Sonic living in Green Hill, not Green. It's in kind of a, basically it's the video game level, of the first game, and he's a little baby hedgehog, and he's living with an owl, which is like his mama owl. And what I liked what they did with this one, and when I told you when we were watching it, is I like the fact that the rings actually have a purpose in this version.
Yeah, they can
teleport to different worlds and stuff, which I thought was pretty smart for the plot line.
Yeah, just how does he end up on Earth? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense. And so he goes to, so as a baby he's getting, his mother owl is getting chased by these people with these like creatures with spears, and um, so she says go to this world, and he ends up in
Green
Green
Hills.
Hills, which is the name of the first level
Right.
of the video game. Green Hills, was it Montana?
Yeah, Montana. Yeah.
Montana, and he's basically alone because there's pretty cool scenes where he plays baseball with
Yeah, he
himself.
sort of goes crazy a bit. Yeah.
Crazy when he kind of does his thing. What'd you and then there's Doctor Robotnik who's after him because the government is trying to figure out what's going on with this electrical outage after he played baseball,
Right.
and then you had Scott, Cyclops. I'm gonna just call
Yeah.
James Marsden. Cyclops is the is, and I liked what the way they introduce him is he's sitting on he's doing a speed trap,
Right.
and nothing's coming, and he's actually getting like
Turtle.
a turtle, and then the turtle's like going like point 1 mile or something,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you hear this, and I love the fact that Sonic is looking at the seeing how fast he's going.
Right.
He's like getting like 200 speeds, and James Marsden's like, "What's going on?" And I love how Cyclops or Sonic calls him the Donut Lord because of the fact that he's a cop.
Right.
And then there's Pretzel Lady is the name of his girlfriend. Is it girlfriend or wife?
I think they're his wife. I think
His
they're
wife.
married.
Yeah. And I did kind of like how, and then so basically things are going weird, going around, and so the government gets involved because they find, because he goes to play baseball,
Right.
and he starts running around, and it starts an electrical outage, and it was kind of cool when he's playing baseball because he's like making all these names for himself, here, battle, playing, he's actually playing like a game, and then he's running around, and electric stuff happens, and then Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey shows up. And what were your thoughts on Dr. Robotnik watching? How'd you like Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik versus, let's say, how he was portrayed in the animated show, if you remember?
Gotcha. Well, I personally like pretty much. I don't think I've ever watched an episode of the animated show.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I really liked his portrayal because it's pretty much in the video game. He just shows up as the boss.
Yeah, like the boss of the last level, and he's like, "Arr," yeah.
I feel like you don't get a lot of character from the games that much of like this.
Well, I can see it from the games. I think just because I watched the first couple episodes of the
Right.
animated show, I could kind of see how he's like, I have this diabolical fan of evil, he's kind of malicious. And what's kind of cool, what I like, malicious sort of twirls the mustache. And ironically, Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik has like a twirl mustache.
Right.
So he does. And so he's basically looking for the hedgehog. Sonic meets James Marsden, who's, I can't remember his character. Tom. And they basically have kind of start a friendship going on.
Right.
And he's got his girlfriend.
He's already in San Francisco.
In
And
San
they sort of
Francisco.
go on like a road trip on the run.
They go road trip on the run, and there's pretty cool scenes where there's like robots and robots. They're like, we see Robotnik's robots
Yeah.
chasing him and stuff. Did you feel like this was a good? I felt like this was a good. I don't feel like it was a good, like 7 p.m. movie. This felt like a good 5 matinee kind of film.
Yeah.
Something like I could kind of digest. In at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Right.
and then kind of review it as a film. I liked this film. I liked how I think it's a great kids movie without being didn't pan, it's great for kids and people who kind of know the Sonic lore. I like the green or the dimension
Oh, the
hopping.
rings, yeah.
That made pretty sense. I liked how the fact, and they actually understood the game too, because like I think there was a scene where he trips and all the rings
Yeah, and
come
they
out
have
kind
like
of
a
like the
sound
same
effect,
way.
yeah.
And I liked how I think and you felt like Jim Carrey was actually putting, he looked like he was having fun
Right.
as Dr. Robotnik, and I'm kind of glad he's coming back for the
I'm
second one and the third
surprised.
one.
Is this like the first time he's ever done a third movie?
I think, well, yeah, I think this is his first time he's done, because he did Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. That was his first
Sequel.
sequel, and then he did Dumb and Dumber 2.
Right.
But I think he used to say that sequels weren't.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
like
he just wanted. I think he
very
was
rarely does
really,
sequels.
really, and I think this was his first trilogy. I think this is his like. I think after. I think he was originally gonna like retire from acting, but then I think I think he kind of jumped on to do this one. I don't know if he was contractually obligated, but
Right.
I mean he didn't look like he was sleepwalking through it. He looked like it
No.
was fun, and I mean and I liked what they did with um, kind of the ending or like I thought the action was good. Like there's a scene where Doctor Robotnik shoots a bunch of missiles, and um, Sonic jumps through each of
Yeah.
the
A
things.
lot of the high speed stuff felt a lot like the scene from Quicksilver and X Men.
Quicksilver and X Men, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, or at least Clockstoppers. I think when we were
Right.
watching it, it kind of reminded me of Clockstoppers. Um, this film, I think, really brought. It was a great idea for a video game adaptation, don't you think? The fact that I like him being in Green Hills as a for like a live action take. They didn't really go into so much lore like in Super Mario Brothers, the
Right.
'93 movie, where you're like, wait a minute, this is a Super Mario Brothers movie. It actually felt like something. But what was your favorite thoughts?
It was definitely Jim Carrey. Sort of carries a lot of the.
Jim
Yeah.
Carrey carries the
Right.
Sonic, and I do think that the guy that voiced Sonic did a really good job. I like the design of him. I mean, eyes and all, but I thought he looked more of like Sonic. I'm kind of excited to see what Shadow's gonna look like and Knuckles, because Knuckles is gonna be voiced by Idris Elba.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I liked how I felt like this was a really good film. I like the buddy cop. Well,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. One
buddy.
was a cop. Yeah.
Well, buddy cop kind of feel with Sonic, and especially like the scene where they're at uh,
The
the bar,
bar. Yeah.
and he's dressed up in like an outfit, and I liked how Sonic felt like a kid too. Like he
Yeah.
felt
Definitely.
like he was a kid. Um, and I liked how and I liked how he would like, and then I liked the fact that he would have those help him in a pickle, but then you know James Mars Cyclops would be like, "What's going on?" Or Tom, I think Tom,
Tom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I guess this one was a really good film. I would probably say it's a good kids matinee film. I liked it. I would like to. I liked that they actually took care of. Like the plot was pretty simple. What was your any? I guess we're just.
I'm just curious because you've seen all after just watching this. How does this compare to the new Mario Brothers and the Detective? Are you still like where would you put this one with the
I
three?
would probably, if you put three, I like this one probably as one, because I think also the reason why I'm giving this a little bit more leeway is because it has I think because it has a sequel,
Uh,
or like three sequels, and they just kind of pushed them out. But I do, when I looked at Detective Pikachu, that was another film where I felt like they really brought they really took care, of, like, we got to see the Pokemon world in real life, but it wasn't like with the CGI. It looked cool, like it looked
Uh,
real. It wasn't like that. I couldn't see them do with this in '99
gotcha.
with the Pokemon the first movie. Like a live action one.
Right.
But I would probably have to say I like Sonic. Probably Sonic and the Super Mario Brothers would be 1 and 2, 2 and 1. I'm not really because I felt like the Super Mario Brothers, because Terrence and I went and saw it in theaters, and I felt like it. They also really took. I think when you give it to the right studio, or let the studio, the company that started it, really kind of, play with it, and wink, give people the winks
Right.
to it, to Easter eggs to
The games.
games,
Yeah.
really makes it work. And I would probably have to say I like Sonic. I would probably put Sonic. I think just because it's really kind of spawned a franchise, I think Sonic would probably be number one compared
Okay.
to. But I wouldn't mind seeing this as a double feature with Super Mario Brothers.
Gotcha.
Um, how would you rate this on our 1 to 10 scale, Jay? Or like, or how about this? 1 to 5 is terrible to like okay. 6 to 7, 6 to 8 is
I'd probably give this a 6.5.
6.5. So you weren't. So would you say? What would you have done? What did you? Do you feel like it was a good film or bad film, or was it just kind of okay?
I guess for me it was okay. I mean, love Jim Carrey. I would watch however many of these they're gonna make. Just to see Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was, this was one of those films where I feel like if this came out when I was 8, this would be one of those movies I'd probably put on and watch constantly.
Right.
For me now, looking at it as 30 something, this is a film that I feel like it's good, but it's it's still a kids movie, so I can kind of like, it's a good kids movie.
Yeah.
It's a good matinee film.
Yeah, I agree.
I would probably watch all 3 of them and then kind of sum up. I feel like the second one looks like it's a little bit better. It's got tails
Gotcha.
but I had fun. I came
Yeah.
out of it like I had fun. I mean, it wasn't. I thought Jim Carrey makes it worth the watch, don't you think?
I think so.
So I'd probably give it a 7.
Yeah.
For me. So that is our look at part 2 of Sonic the Hedgehog. Part 3 will be coming later on. I might just do it myself but called Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Knuckles Boogaloo. I'm Steve, and with me as always is
Jay.
and we will finally
We got it. We got to do John Wick.
John Wick Chapter 4
Yeah.
is coming soon, and also Season 5 of Cobra Kai or Season 6, so we're going to have to catch up. But guys, thank you so much for listening and following. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Sonic the Hedgehog movies and Sonic the Hedgehog itself. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And if there's anything else you want me to review, please let me know in the comments below. And as always, I'm Steve.
I'm Jay.
And gotta go fast. Bye.